This is the island. This is the first map and the smallest map in ARK Survival Evolved. Today I will be playing this in hardcore. I'll be trying to complete day 1 to 100 series without dying basically, because if I die I'll lose everything. Obviously if you do enjoy, hit that like button and subscribe. Now the lifespan of a usual character is probably about 0.5 seconds, so I don't think it's going to go well. But we'll just have to wait and see. As day 1 started, I did what any usual ARK player does and I went on a note run. This gets me started, gets me to an average level where I can get started and do pretty well. Now I eventually got to level 63 after getting a few white drops and notes. Now this is good because it means I can unlock stuff that I couldn't before. Oh god. And this is where day 2 started. I got attacked by a Dilo. I needed hide, so I decided to try and kill it. But this is where a Sark appeared and decided he wanted to jump at me like he was Spider-Man. I could not fight the Sark, so I just had to run.
Run, boy, run.
Then I decided to kit myself up with some weapons so I could actually fight back against stuff like that. And then for the rest of day 2 I just ran north to find a place where I wanted to build. When day 3 started, I found this weird duck looking thing which I harvested to get some nice polymer. But then I found another Dilo and I decided to go round 2, and this time I actually killed him. And then I found this really cool looking monkey, so I tried to tame him. He could be my friend, and he is. I had no clue what to call him, so I just stuck him on my shoulder and carried on with my journey. But then I found the spot I wanted to build. It was on an island in the middle of a lake. I decided to stick some thatch foundations there to lay my land. I then harvested resources for the rest of the day. Filled 3 boxes full of thatch, wood and stone, and that took me into day 4. After making some narcotic in day 4, I got attacked by a carno. This thing just wouldn't stop running at me, so I had to lead it onto another tame, or animal. After getting it to fight with a turtle, I managed to kill it near the end. I then harvested its nice, good hide, and I carried on hunting. I killed a raptor, and carried on with my base. I decided to make some refining forges, so I could start smelting some metal, and get a smithy going.
You don't have.
Then in day 5, I went on a metal run, so I could make some weapons like a crossbow and a pike, so I could defend myself and also tame some stuff. I then found myself in a fight with a turtle. Now I did want its keratin so I could make a PT saddle, and I ended up killing it. It didn't give me too much, but it did help out. It did give me enough though for a PT saddle. After this I went drop hunting, and also went to tame some PTs. After bowling one out the air, I knocked him out and tried to tame him.
44, you mad fam? Mate, this.
After I saw another one, I bowled him as well and tried to knock him out too.
Have you not attacked me?
I then went and tamed the best dino in the game, the dodo. Now this thing is helpful because it could lay eggs for me so I could eat. Later that day the PTs finally tamed, and then I harvested more keratin from turtles so I could make a saddle for both PTs. Day 7 I was looking at the stuff to make a fabricator, so I went on a metal run so I could get enough for a fabby. Harvested that, then I went to get a blade drop. It wasn't the best kind of bring my day really. But then I made more narcotics, ready to tame some more dinos. I then went to knock out a tech parasaur so it could help defend my base. After knocking him out, I tried to tame him with some medjool berries and he finally did tame. After this I made a saddle for him so we could start on our voyage together. I then got another white job which had nothing in it again, and this is where it led on to day 8. I went travelling, got attacked by a few dinos, killed them, found a few nuts and continued travelling across the sky. After finding a green job, I decided to check that out as well. I got attacked by another creature, so I decided just to grab the job and run off. Again, nothing good was in it. I then went to harvest crystal and tried to tame some argents. After failing on my first attempt, I decided to make a trap. I need to make more narcotics first though. Midway through day 9, I finally trapped the bird, even after a few attempts. After quite a few tranks, he finally knocked out, and I tamed it. This is where day 10 hit, and I decided to carry on my voyage towards Blue Obelisk. Now, I realised it was too cold to survive, so I decided to try and get some fur so I could actually last in the snow. Because I was dying of coldness, I decided to make some campfires so I could eat food and keep warm through the night. When morning struck, it became day 11. This is where I went towards Blue Ob, got some silica pearls, and I could actually live in the snow. After a bit of travelling, I set down at Blue Obelisk. This is probably where I would set my base for the near future. After settling down, I went on a massive wood run. This is so I could make more structures and more supplies. When day 12 struck, I accidentally got off my bird and almost died. Then I decided to go on a massive resource run. First up I gathered hide and silica pearls. After that I harvested some oil and got some polymer. I did feel bad for killing the penguins, but it was all worth it in the end. In day 13 I found a gold drop. I attempted to gather it, but ended up getting in some deep trouble. After evading that problem, I went to kill more dinos so I could harvest more hide for the base, and I also grabbed an Anki so I could tame him for metal runs. As a lot of tranks entered the Anki's body, he finally knocked out. I put medjool berries, tinto berries, every berry into his body and he finally tamed. I also went and got a gold job and I was quite happy with it. I then carried on with my base. This row of forges would enable me to cook more metal at a time. After this, I decided to place my foundations of where my base will go. Found another purple drop and again was disappointed. To finish off the day, I would get silica pearls ready for some electronics. I also found a nice explorer note hidden away. Just before the end of day 14, I decided to go on a fat metal run to fill my forges up. And that I did. Later in day 15 I placed more forges and transferred all the metal into the forges. I then made mortar and pestle so I could make some nice spark powder. Look at it. Look at all that nice spark powder, man. Anyway, day 16 I went on another fat wood run. This did take a long time, but this was to elevate the base so it could be much larger. Even more forges were added and wood was placed in each forge. I then went on another metal run and transferred the metal into each forge again. This meant basically I hardly ever needed metal again. When day 17 hit, I collected all the spark powder
Look at this spark
and
powder.
carried on with my base. I decided to center my base around the obelisk. I don't know why, but I just thought it'd be a good idea. Now this did take a very long time. Then I went to get a drink and I almost died. This could have been it. This could be the end of the series already.
Oh no. Oh, I'm gonna die. Oh no. Get up! Mate, why can't I move? That's not fair! Mate! Wait. No! Flipping heck, man.
As you heard, that was a pretty scary experience for me. But now, day 17 to day 20. Now, literally, I went to get beaver dams and travelled across the whole map. I went here, here, and here. And I literally didn't find a single dam. When day 21 hit, I had all the materials to make a fabricator. So I placed it on my foundations. I also found a blue drop, which gave me absolutely nothing again. And yet again, I did another wood run. Absolutely amazing. Brilliant. After this, I filled up all the forges once again. But that led on to day 22, where I tried to complete as much base as possible. This did take a long time. I placed pillars and the entrance. Now this was the start of what my base would be in the future. Now day 23 started, and well, nothing had saved, so I had to redo the base again, which was absolutely world class. Now this could have counted as day 22 still, as it went back, but I just count it as day 23 because this did roll it over into day 23 anyway. Anyway, I found a red drop down in the snow, got absolutely nothing again out of it. But then I found a mammoth. I decided to knock him out as he would be useful for the wood runs. It wouldn't take as long as well. After creating some cryos, I went down to cryo him up after taming him. To make use of it, I then went on a wood run. But to end off the day, I found a really good looking RG and decided to stick it in a trap and tame it. It wasn't a bad level either, and it could breed with my Argent. After knocking him out, I went on a fibre run so I could make some saddles. After getting yet another disappointing drop, I decided to return back to my RG in its trap. Before that though, I killed a few rhinos for hide and the keratin so I could make this Argent saddle. When he finally tamed, the saddle was on and I had a breeding pair of Argents. When I got back to base, I decided to do more work on the base so I can actually live in something. This took up most of the day. And in day 26, I bred the RGs and collected their egg so they could be raised. After putting him next to the forges, he could then try and hatch, and then I increased the storage in the base. After this, I put everything where it belongs, and this actually took a while. But when I finished with this, I walked outside to see that I had twins. This is quite a surprise because it's quite rare, and I was quite happy. And both birds came out quite good as well, with good stats. Good stats off the father and the colours of the mum. And for the rest of the day, I raised these two babies. When day 27 hit, I decided to make a load of narcotics and do a ton of work on the base. I decided to go travelling looking for tames and more beaver dams. On the way I found a gold drop, which wasn't the best. It was alright, I guess. Anyway, there was no dams again, so I decided to go tame some PTs. First up, I found this PT in around North Zone 2, pulled him out the air and knocked him out. While I was waiting for him to tame, I got some notes and levelled up. The PT finally tamed, so I corralled him up and continued on my journey. I then found another PT on the side of the mountain, knocked him out and put some food in him and waiting for him to tame. But while that was happening, he got eaten by a load of wild dinos and I almost died again. My PT was fairly low after this.
Been nicking my stuff.
Now in day 30, I flew around North Zone looking for more stuff to tame. I found another PT and decided to knock this one out as well, as it was a decent level. After looking for the PT for a while, I went to Corner Island. Now Corner Island usually has a lot of dinos on it. I was looking for some good level Rexes. The island wasn't loading in properly and all the Rexes were really low level. And then I flew to the snow biome. This is where I found a good level Megatherium, so I decided to make a trap for it. This is the only way I could possibly tame it. After attempting to trap the Megatherium a few times, I finally got it in. It did ruin my armour though.
Oh my word.
After this, I decided to try and knock it out. I was so low on tranks that I had to make some new ones with a mortar and pestle. After getting absolutely slapped up by another Megatherium, I started to panic a bit. I decided to bleed it on to another dino so he could leave me alone, but it just killed the other dino and came straight back to me. As you can see, I was in some distress. The PT just wouldn't fly.
Get up, you... Mate, you stupid bird!
After just getting away with my PT's life, I decided to make some campfires to survive in the cold, and I finally knocked out the Megatherium. It tamed in day 32, after such a long time.
Hey, finally.
And after I cooked up some meat and corralled the Megatherium, I decided to fly back to base. When I go back to base, I don't know why, but I decided to play the drums for a bit. Then I went keratin hunting for some chitin and keratin so I can make some paste and make some more saddles. This was also for more fur armour. Now in the next bit, the recording kind of messed up a little bit, so all I can show you really is the frames and pictures, but it did not go well.
Oh no, I'm stuck. Oh no, I'm stuck. Oh no, I'm stuck. My orange is dead. My orange. No!
As you can see, my RG died.
No.
And they got chased by a giga on the way back. Somehow I did survive that part. The giga decided it wanted to do a diving session and flew off the edge of the cliff. And this is where it led on to day 34, where I spent ages looking for my RG bag. My RG had so much stuff on it, but I just couldn't find it. All I found was dead direwolves and stuff like that. I also found an explorer note at the end of the day, but one thing I do have to do is say rips my RG. Very sad. But anyway, we got to day 35. I went another wood run so I could continue work on the base. Day 36 struck and I went on another metal run. I also collected crystal and obsidian as well. This took a very long while. Look at that metal, look at it. I filled up all the forges with at least 900 metal each. Then we got to day 37. In day 37 I went hunting for hides and keratin once again. Now this did take a while. I need the hide for saddles and armour. I also need the keratin for paste. Now from day 38 to 42 I went looking for Tyrannuses, or whatever they're called. This was to use in the boss fight. I literally couldn't find a good level at all. I flew around the snow biome about 5 times and couldn't find anything, literally. I ended up finding a gold drop, but I couldn't get it because there's so much stuff around it, so I decided just to fly off. Then I found a really good level UT finally and tried to trap it, but it didn't go well.
Oh. Oh no, I'm dead. Forgot how quick these things were!
As you can see, that was a close call, but then I found another one after I lost the first one, and this one was right near base. This one was level 140, the best one that I've seen so far, and I managed to trap it. Then the task of knocking it out became a thing. I ran out of tranks, I had to use darts, and finally it knocked out.
Woohoo! Let's go.
When it finally tamed, I cried it up and took it back to base. Now, day 42 to 44, I went exploring again and found a note. I was looking for Rexes at this point, I just couldn't find any good Rexes at all. They're all at level 10 or 12. I also found this purple drop, which was also awful as well. Then I found this level 8 female Rex, which would just be good for breeding. All I would need is a good male for this, so I decided to knock out the level 8. After quite a few darts, it finally knocked out. And now the task of just giving it meat, getting prime and waiting for it to tame was a thing. And when it finally tamed, it came out at level 11. I know, amazing. So I decided to cry it up and look for more Rexes. I went to Cornwall Island and found absolutely nothing once again. For some reason the map wasn't loading in once again. I don't know why, it's just a glitch. Anyway, then I found a 130 male Rex. This was perfect to start my breeding line, so I decided to make a trap and try and trap it. Once I grabbed its attention, this was it, the chance to trap it. After juking it a few times, it finally started following me into the trap. And now it was finally in. The only task I had was to dart it out.
Ow.
This took a very long time. I almost ran out of darts. But eventually it did go down. But then I needed prime meat. So I decided to go and kill some RGs with my crossbow and nick their prime. After waiting for absolutely ages, the Rex finally tamed. And it came out really good.
Hey, let's go.
Right, so I had a slight issue. The next 10 days, well, the file of recording kind of corrupted and it didn't really work. So what I'm going to do is create a recreation for you of the next 10 days. Don't worry, this won't happen again. Alright, so first I got one Rex and put it with another Rex, which then makes a baby. I then waited for the baby to hatch, and while I did that, I went on the biggest wood run of my life with my mammoth. And because of this, I managed to make my small base more of a big base, which I can fit more stuff in. Like I made a top area for the creatures to stay in. I also managed to make a chemistry bench, so I can make that nice cementing paste. In between the rest of the days, do metal runs, flint runs, all that sort of stuff. I bred more Rexes, and this is what the base looks as of now. Now for the rest of day 58, I went on an oil run and a wood run. I tried to get some berries with the megatherium, but realised I'm an idiot and you don't collect berries, so I decided to come down with the mammoth instead. After making some nice gunpowder to make some bullets and some trank darts, I then bred the Rexes again. After forgetting I had a chemistry bench and making narcotics in the mortar and pestles, I waited for the eggs to hatch. When the egg eventually hatched, it came out a decent level, so I imprinted on it and fed it some meat. Then, on day 60 to 61, I made a load of cryos to go out and tame loads of dinos. I saw a baryonyx in the water that was a decent level, which could use to do caves. So I went and made a trap, and gathered the attention of the baryonyx, and tried to trap it. Now I think I had a heart attack here.
Hello.
That's not fair. Swim! Lag. After finally trapping it in these laggy conditions, I wrestled a terror bird and tried to knock out the baryonyx. Then I found another good level PT next to my trap, so I decided to knock that out as well while taming the baryonyx. The baryonyx finally tamed before the pteranodon, and it came out a decent level. It would be good enough to do some caves. The PT finally tamed, so I crowded up and got on my journey. Day 62 to 65, I found a good level ferry and decided to try and trap it. But what I didn't know is ferries were basically impossible to trap. But first I had to make the trap. I attempted many times to trap the ferry and almost died many a times. Because the ferry just decided it didn't want to go in the trap half the time. It just wanted to attack the stone. After finally trapping it after several attempts, I started to dart the Ferrazino. A Dilophosaur also tried an attempt to attack my bird. After a very long while, the ferry finally went down. I also found an iguanodon midway through taming, so I decided to knock him out as well. After giving him some berries, he tamed. I also found a low level Diplo, so I decided to passive tame that as well with some Medchos. Sorry about the frames. It was just a fat Diplo. Now day 66 to 68, I went back to my old base to where I started this whole journey. And everything was still alive. I don't know how, I literally forgot about it all. The Pterosaur was just sat there, minding its own business. The Dodo hadn't laid an egg yet somehow. And I ended up just making some flak in my old smithy and leaving my dinos there to live their lives. I also cut my hair as well to make myself look more majestic than I already am. Then I decided to make some more PT saddles as I was going on a taming spree. And the Ferrazino finally tamed. It decided it wanted to wake up, finally. Then I accidentally jumped off a PT again and almost died again. After that I went to the swamp biome and found a frog that I wanted to tame. This would be for CP Kiv, but first I had to kill all the threats that were in my way. These ugly ass looking snakes though. Flipping heck. Anyway, I found the frog and tried to dart it out. The thing decided it wanted to lick me, I don't know why. I must taste nice. But then it started running, which, as you know, when they start running it means they're close to being knocked out, and it did. It went unconscious in the water. When it finally tamed, before it could get eaten by anything else around the swamp, I decided to cry it up and fly away. Then I went and found some more beaver dams and got that lovely paste. I mean, 77 is not really that much, but oh well. But that was the only dam in this place. Probably the whole dam on the dam island because there's nothing around. There's also a red drop, which was just as disappointing. But now it was time to fly back to base. Day 69, I crowd everything into their correct location, giving them all crowd sickness to have a nice sleep. Then I decided to breed the Rexes again to get some more troops for my army for the boss fight. If you didn't figure out already, I'm going to be doing the monkey as the boss battle, or otherwise known as the Megapithecus. I decided to make loads of saddles for the tames I just tamed, like a bionic saddle, so I can start doing caves. After this, I made some troughs and filled them up. I then started having a go on the frog, trying to get to grips with how it works. I had a very good time. Then I went on a very small berry run, just for some berries for the troughs and for some narcos for narcotics. I then raised another Rex with some decent stats. And got some water, and also I needed some biotoxin for some tranquilizer darts, so I decided to go hunting for jellyfish. Now, apart from avoiding to be stung, it went pretty well, to be fair. I killed all 5 jellyfish with my crossbow and avoided everything in the ocean, apart from the cold. After harvesting all the biotoxin, I discovered some pearls down at the bottom of the ocean. Now, this was a task because I didn't have much oxygen, and also it was freezing, so I need to get these before I died. I then went back to base and made some electronics and some darts. I also made some narcotics as well, so I could tame even more dinos. After trying to make some gunpowder so I could make some shotgun shells and get prepared for the boss fight that would eventually come, I started to make pistol bullets so I could make shotgun shells. On top of this, I made some sets of flak, so say one were to break in the boss fight, I'd be able to put another set on. I bred the Rexes once again to strengthen my army, and I bred the Pteranodons, because knowing me, I'll probably leave it somewhere and just let it die. I then raised the Pteranodon, look at him, little cutie, and then I fed it and kept it alive. After this, I placed some Rex eggs down in a little area and waited for them to hatch. After they hatched, I just kept them alive, which is basically what I did for every baby. I got bored, so I decided to do more work on the base. Add some windows, so I could actually see out of it. I thought it looked pretty good. I found another red drop, decided to go for it, and again, I was disappointed. Eventually, I went on a meat run. This was to fill up all the troughs for the babies and for the Rexes to heal. This also leveled up a lot of the Rexes, so they could actually fight in the boss fight without being absolutely decimated. I mean, I was having a good time, but the mammoths weren't. Anyway, I then went on and got some fibre, so I could make more Rex saddles for all the Rexes I was going to bring into the boss fight. So a lot of fibre. Day 73 hit, and I decided to make loads of Rex saddles. I also bred even more Rexes, be pretty bored of that now. I ended up making around 8 Rex saddles altogether, and while I did that, I waited for another Rex to hatch. At this time also I hit level 100, which is basically the best level you can be as a character. I mean, you can go higher, but you've unlocked everything by this point. Then I unlocked loads of stuff that I thought looked cool, even though I would never use it. After putting this saddle on each Rex, I raised even more babies and kept them alive too. I know, I'm a good father. Now it was time to get prepared for the CP cave. This is Swamp Cave. Basically, I needed scuba and ghillie, which I made, so I could survive the gas in the cave. I brought the megatherium and the frog to kill the bugs and collect some ending paste. Also, I accidentally clicked the wrong button again and flew off the PT. Now, the PT just decided he didn't want to follow me. He wanted freedom, he was out, so I was stuck. So for the next day, the rest of the night, I spent walking back up the mountain to try and get my RG. I mean, I got attacked a few times, got a few scratches and stuff, but I ended up getting up at base. When I finally got my PT again, I carried on my journey to Swamp Cave. When I got there, I was quite sceptical, but I did it. Now, I apologise for the frames, but there's always frames in caves like this. I started slowly because I was quite worried. But when I got in there was nothing there. Until I got deeper. When I got deeper, there was just millions of bugs, and they just decimated my armour like it was nothing. Obviously, I got a load of pace, but I almost died.
What? What screamer just got instant?
As I ran out screaming,
Alright, let's get out of here. Bro.
I kitted back up, but did I realise the Magnuras and the bugs were still following me and decided to go for my PT. My PT wasn't the best, so it got absolutely decimated. But I thought I'd saved it by this point. I was really happy. I was checking the paste I had. But did I realise a lonely Big Nura was just chilling? And yep, ripped my PT. Man just like spinning before he died, dropped to the floor, and gave me depression. But anyway, I didn't really give one about that. I was happy about the paste I had. I killed the stupid bug. Anyway, I went back into the cave not fully armoured up, which meant I did die slowly. But I had enough time to get in and out. Obviously, I almost died by these stupid spiders, but I came back in with my megatherium to decimate the bugs that caused my pain. Look at it. If you didn't know, this is also a technique to level up. Like, I got 2 levels and I was already over level 100. The megatherium's buff is just OP. Look at those levels. Now, it was going quite swell, the cave. I thought I could get to the end of it, but when I saw this section, I realised I had a long, long way to go, and my health bar was not going to withstand it. So after killing more bugs, getting more kiting, I decided to come outside because I had a leech on me. Now, the leech won't come off, so I had to relog, and the leech finally came off. Now the day was coming to an end, so I decided to pack up my kiting and my paste and start my journey home. This ended off at day 77. Now, day 78 to 79. Obviously I was on RG, it took forever to get home. But now it was time to tame a Megalodon. Now, I literally went down the whole coast and didn't find a single good Megalodon. We're all at level 8. I got jumped by a Sarko, so I decided to knock him out as well. Just in case I didn't find a Megalodon. After finally knocking him out, I put some fish meat in him and decided to tame him. Also tame an Ichthys, just so I could have something fast in the water. So I finally tamed, so I cried it up, curled the Ichthys up and carried down the coast. As I said, I didn't find anything. Literally the Megalodons were awful, all of them. But I found like a level 60, so I decided just to knock it out because I was bored. After avoiding mantas, jellyfish and other Megalodons, I finally knocked him out. He must have been glitched or something because he just sat there like he was asleep. He was just chilling, just vibing. He literally wanted to be tamed. he had enough of these oceans. Anyway, I killed another Megalodon for prime meat after I knocked it out and tamed it. It came out level 95, which is not the best, but I cried him up before he got eaten alive by mantas and carried on my journey home, which took forever, by the way. Now, day 80 to 83, this was it, the time to do my first cave. This was an underwater cave, this is why I needed all the water dinos. It took me a while to find it, but I eventually did. This was for the artifact of the brute, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, as I got down, I uncrowned my Megalodon and prepared myself to take on the cave. As I got in, it was quite scary because I thought there'd be loads of dangerous stuff in here, but I just swam in like it was nothing. I was just having a good time. I found a good level Megalodon, to say the least, then started panicking. As I got chased a few times, jumping out my skin, I finally found the way towards the artifact. After seeing an alpha mosasaur, I think I kind of sorrowed myself a little bit, but then I decided just to swim over it and it didn't even aggro. Now, I didn't know what to do, so I just tried to crown my Megalodon and he almost died.
Surely. There we go.
After finally cryoing it, I saw the artifact. But what I needed to do was juke all the Megalodons and all the dangerous stuff and just grab the artifact and run.
Come on.
After seeing the Megalodons coming towards me, I decided just to swim past them and grab the artifact before anything could happen. After spamming my keyboard, I got it and started to swim away. I uncrowned my Icky and just ran and just swam as fast as I could. I'm pretty sure the alpha mosasaur was asleep. Anyway, as I got out, I crawled the Icky, put my kit on and flew home. It was a successful cave. Now, it's the cave 2, Carno Cave, Carno Island Cave. I used my baryonyx for this one. This one you need to swim under a little section and come out where there's bats, bugs, all sorts. I also brought my Rex along with me just in case it's too much to handle. After killing half the bugs on the spiral and doing some parkour, I collected the hide off all the animals and put my ghillie suit on as I saw about 10 trillion bats. Now I thought I could sneak past the bats, but I realised that was impossible when a spider tried to shoot me with his damn webs. So I had to shotgun that to death. I decided to get my Rex out.
Go on then.
After getting my Rex out, I just ate and chomped, as you can hear. I grabbed the artifact and decided to run, but what I didn't realise is the bats from before were still following me, and there's about 10 trillion bats coming down to get me. This actually put me in trouble, and it actually damaged my Rex an absolute ton.
No, we've got off wax. Come on in, you stupid bat.
After that, I went back to the base and fed even more Rexes. Yes, I needed more. I again did another meat run for the troughs back for the babies. And I hatched more babies. I also went on a crystal run so I could make more ceilings and make my base look better. And hatched even more eggs. I even named one of the eggs Chomp. This is a time lapse of me sitting there waiting for the Rexes to grow. Now, day 90 to 93, this is when I did the final cave. Now, this looked quite scary to me, this cave, but I decided to do it with the baryonyx. Now, I got jumped by a bat, and I think I starved myself again, if I hadn't already. But I decided to shotgun the bat, and it worked. Now I could finally get the baryonyx out of my pocket and lob it.
Alright, can I throw him out now?
The baryonyx was not phased by much, apart from about 10 trillion piranhas, which I just kind of made them commit suicide. I don't know what they were doing, they just didn't want to live anymore and they just jumped out of the water. I don't know what they were doing, to be honest.
That was me. Oh!
But yeah.
Oh my.
I was then jumped by two centipede looking things, and almost died, but oh well. I carried on, and I remembered a secret passage from my old days of playing ARK. I definitely didn't look it up. Then I got my grapples. I grappled to the secret passage. After some absolute parkour, I went down the small passage and found the artifact. This was probably the easiest cave out of the lot of them.
The artifact.
After this, I went home and prepared for the boss fight. I made bullets for my shotgun, leveled up some more Rexes, got some more raw meat so the Rexes could all heal after being leveled up. Then I made even more saddles, so they all had a bit of armour on them, so they didn't get decimated by the monkey. Now, day 95 to 97, I got the extra stuff needed, like the spinal sails, or the filer claws. I also found an alpha raptor. I decided to kill that as well and got some decent stuff off it. This thing didn't stand a chance.
Come on then.
After killing the raptor, I went and shotgunned some firelords after almost dying several times to them and got their claws. I went and got Megalania toxin from the caves I'd done, and day 98 I killed fairies for their colours as well. In the same day, I went travelling to the ocean to find some megalodons to kill for their teeth. I know, it does sound weird. But anyway, I needed this for the boss fight, and this was the day. This was the day we've been waiting for. I destroyed my base, I know it's sad, but I needed to fit all the Rexes on the podium. I also had one more space left, so I decided to put the ferry on it. I also tamed a Daedon just to heal up the Rexes before the fight. Now this is it, day 100. All these hours of playing is this for one moment. Now I got myself kitted up, ready. Even put my Rexborn helmet on, just to make myself look even cooler. If I die, it's all for nothing. If I survive, it's been all worth it. Here we go. Every team fitted in just somehow. And I'll let this one play out.
Like, please not. Go on. Come on. Oh, Barry, get in there, lad. Come on! Come on, boys. We can do this. Come on. Come on. I forgot to put the date. I forgot to put the date on the passing field, although it's gone. Left home. Ow! That really hurt. Come on! No, ferry! Come on! Come on. We're getting in bloody. Come on! Oh, I'm so low! No! Chompy! Come on! We get him! I'm frozen! Yes! Woohoo! Come on! Let's go! Hey! Woohoo! Where? Didn't have to use the shotgun. I'm freezing, man. I need to get my flipping. Oh. Look at this element. build a fat Ellie base. I've got. Oh, it's so good. Let's remove this skin and let's put it on my helmet. We've done it, boys. Get funky. After severe fatalities, like the Ferry and Chom, and don't forget the Daedon, I made the trophy, I stuck the head on the trophy system, and I stuck the flag down. And this is to remember this boss fight. And that is the Day 100 series. Just look at it, it's so majestic. But that is the end of the video. So if you did enjoy, hit that like button and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. And if you do want to see more stuff like this, subscribe and stay tuned. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.